So just to give you another little update here, it's a new day, it's the weekend, and just want to show you where I'm at. I'm just been working on a few details for the car that have been bugging me. It's just hard to come in here and look at the car and not touch things that you know that just need a little bit of tidy up work. So I've been through and working through the badges and painting the badges. I've polished the wheels on this side. I've been doing some work on the engine bay. Hopefully you can see that looks a little bit cleaner and tidier in here. I still need to do the underside of the hood and the hood support there. I'm waiting for the interior bits and pieces that I need to finish the console off, which should be here within the week. So as soon as I get that in, I can finish off that interior and then get onto the door locks. I've taken the rear trim off that needed touching up and wasn't sitting quite right to the bodywork, so I've taken that off and I'll be fixing that back in again shortly. But the main thing I need to get to, and I don't think I've mentioned this yet, is that I need to replace or do something about the exhaust manifold on the right hand side there, on the passenger side. And that's because unfortunately when the car was being loaded onto the trailer in California, I guess it got a little bit bottomed out on the trailer with the angles involved, or I'm not sure why, but the exhaust got snagged up and it actually cracked the exhaust manifold just above where it joins the downpipe. If it sounded a little bit noisy in the previous videos, and that's the reason why. I've always known it had a problem and I've identified it, and it just needs to be switched out before I can use the car too much and take it down the road for compliance. So where I'm at with this is that I did buy a set of stainless steel headers, hugger headers for this in the States when I was there, and put them in my luggage and brought them back. The problem with that though, I guess, is that I don't want to put those on just yet. And I don't want to do that because when I do that, I really want to take off the smog gear, the smog pump sitting right there. And at that stage, I'll also upgrade the carburetor and probably the distributor as well. Just a few of the basic things that would probably just help this engine run better and be a bit more tunable. And I'm not in a position to do that just yet. So what I've done is I've managed to pick up a second-hand set of manifolds for this engine. Somebody was selling them on Trade Me here, local sales site, auction site. They're for sale for $50, so I've picked those up. I've got a pair, but I only need the one side, of course. So what I'm going to do is replace that manifold, the stock manifold on that side, with another stock manifold, and that sort of just means it's a straight swap out and it'll be good to go again. I'm not messing around with the distributor or the carburetor or the smog pump. It's just get it back the way it is original, get it through compliance, registered, warranted, drivable, and then later on down the track I'll mess around with changing out to the headers and everything else. So that is the mission I'm on to next, and I need to get done again so I can get this down the road to the compliance guys and get it checked out. So to do that, being that it's on that side over there and my lack of room over there, what I'm going to do is actually back the car out of here, turn it around on the street and back it back up the driveway so that the nose is poking out of the door there, and that way that right hand side over there will be over here, which will give me a lot more room to move and get into there and give me a bit more light to work with. And it also gives me a chance to detail the other side of the car when I can get to it a little bit easier. So that's my mission today: get the car out of here, turned around with the nose poking out, and then I can get onto the exhaust manifold, which I can't really say I'm looking forward to, but it's a job that's got to be done. I've got about a week where I want to get that done, as well as take it to the same crowd that did my tyres and brakes, and have them swap out some bushes and steering linkages that I've brought in from the States as well, and get those replaced while it's up on the hoist, and they can knock that out real quick for me. A lot easier for them to do it up on the hoist than it is for me to do here in the garage. So at this stage, just to get things moving along faster, I'm going to give the car to them for the day. They can swap out all their old hardware with new, and hopefully they'll help it get it through the compliance check. So yeah, that's my mission today. We'll get it moved out, turned around, and see how we look from there.
I just realized it was so low down.
Very low down.
Well, that wasn't stressful at all. My goodness. It's a bit tight in here, and it doesn't help that it's so noisy because of that broken exhaust manifold that it's hard to take any verbal instruction from anybody. So yeah, it's just a bit of pointing and yelling, but we got there in the end. So now my next dilemma is that this hood won't clear my garage door here when it comes up, so I might have to just go back a little bit further here and see if I can get it to clear, and then I can get to work. Okay, so I've managed to create a little space at the back there, get it back far enough that I could get the hood open. Like I say, it's a bit tight in here. You can see the hood clearance there to the garage door, so things are tight, but I can make it work. So that's the fending manifold down there that needs to be replaced, and so I've got to pull out all this stuff down here to get to it. As you can see, it's going to be a fun little job. I imagine there'll be some work to do from underneath the car as well, for the downpipe, getting the downpipe off. And then if I show you the replacement manifold I've picked up here. Again, just a stock manifold that I'm going to put back on again, just to get me mobile until I'm ready to do a conversion to stainless steel headers. And so, from what I've been able to see, I've stuck my camera down into the engine bay to try and see the crack. It's cracked right through this neck here, and it's a clean break right through. And it's got about 1/8 of an inch gap at the moment, which is why it's so noisy. So this is my replacement part. It's got everything I need. It's like for like. It should. I think this came from a 1977 model. So it looks like it's got all the right bits and pieces on it to swap it straight out. So I'm going to let this engine cool down a bit from moving it, and then I can get stuck into it. So while I'm waiting for things to cool down to start work, I thought I'd just have a quick look at the stainless steel manifold that I've bought, or headers, just to do a size comparison. And it's obvious straight away that there's a height difference, so these wouldn't be a direct swap out. There'd be some modification required to the downpipe. You can see, obviously, if you line up my joint of my concrete here, you can see there's about 4 inches difference between the flange there for the downpipe to this one here. So it was never going to be a straight swap out, which I was sort of hopeful for, but suspected that would not be the case, and so this obviously just confirms that. So again, this is another reason why I'm not going to be doing the header route just yet. This one here will just swap straight out and I'm mobile again, whereas this one here requires quite a bit more adapting to the exhaust. But anyway, everything else looks okay. It's quite a bit taller than the stock one, but there's reasons for that. Obviously better flow, but it doesn't stick any higher than that vacuum pipe that's coming off the manifold there, so it'll fit okay. I'm not too worried about that. Anyway, I look forward to be able to put those on at a later date, and again with an upgrade to the carburetor and going to an HEI distributor, it should make a nice little difference to the way the car runs and performs. So I'll begin the process by doing the obvious thing, and that's removing air cleaner and associated duct work and any hoses that might be in my way. I'm also being careful to take note of how everything comes apart and goes back together again, because again this is the first time for me working on one of these cars. I think I'll be picking up, yeah, it's got holes in it. I'm picking up 2 new ones of these, one for this one and one for this one. That one's not in bad shape, but they probably come as pairs, I think, so I'll probably just put up here. Now, vacuum pipes galore to remember. That's all just to do with that little sensor in there, I guess, which I'm not sure what it does. So that's just a nice little assembly to take off. original carburetor, I'm sure. Again, later on down the track I'll be replacing that with a Holly 600, 650, somewhere around there I imagine. Just eliminate so much of this stuff that's not necessary, including the smog pump. And then we'll just clean up the engine bay a lot, and I can redo lots of different stuff at that stage. But for now, I'd really just want to concentrate on getting this exhaust manifold switched out and making a driver again. It looks tight. I can't even see the heads of the bolts. I can't even see where the spark plugs plug in. I'll just take a few photos and make sure I know where everything goes as I go. Alright, I'll come back when it's cooled down some more. Okay, so I've just started tearing into this, and I'm managing to get to the bolts alright actually. There's one here that holds the AC pump in place, so that one's come undone. I say it shares the AC pump bracket, so I'm assuming I can just keep on winding that one out. The one next to it is loose, it'll come out no problem. The middle one here, just underneath here, that one's coming out no problem. The next one's fine as well. It's helping holding this vacuum bracket on as well. The front one there is loose. There's one, the second one from the front, which is underneath this bracket right there. That one's a little bit harder to get to at the moment, but mainly that little vacuum pipe that's coming off that's sort of getting in the way a little bit. But worst case scenario, I can bend that a little bit and get it out of the way, I think. I have a spare one of those on the other manifold if worst case scenario it breaks. But anyway, so far this is actually coming out quite well. The bolts are surprisingly loose. I mean, not loose, but they are not tight to crack at all. So a little bit of heat in the engine probably doesn't hurt. So I mean, it's still warm, but I can hold my hand there, but it's still quite warm, so maybe that's helping things, just loosen things up enough that I can undo it. So anyway, so far so good. It's going so good in fact that I haven't even got changed into my work clothes, so I'm going to do that now so I can get in here and get dirty, because I know at some stage I'm going to be climbing underneath this to connect that downpipe. Although in theory this exhaust manifold should just lift out of here because it's broken right through, I believe, but I'll still need to undo the remaining manifold from the downpipe, so I'll just have to see how much I can do that from up here and how much I'll need to do from underneath. But anyway, so far so good. I'll come back when I get a little bit closer here. Okay. Let's see what I can get out of here. These aren't as hard to get to as I first thought, but I don't want to jinx myself here. See it? Ooh, this manifold's still hot. Once they're loose a few threads, so just bring it tight, which is kind of nice. And there's the first one. And I'm going to put them in the new manifold in the same order they came out just at this stage, because I don't know if they're length specific just for now, so I don't lose track of where I'm at. Get tight now. Yeah, see, that one is slightly shorter than that last one. And I can tell from the casting now, and take a closer look, yes, the casting is thicker in places than others. So it should be the other one. Yeah. Yep. She's tight. 3. And the bushes fell off. I'm doing all the ones I can get to right now. And the last one, the most difficult one, I might have to do off camera. This is the very, well, that motor's still hot in places. There we go, here's the back one. Just 2 to go. Come on, get on there. There we go. So the front one incorporates the AC pump. Here there's a nut in the middle between the exhaust manifold and the pump bracket. It won't come out like that. I need to take that one out and that one out. So I need a 9/16 spanner. That should allow the whole thing to come out. Must be quite a long stud on this one to go through the pump bracket as well as the exhaust. The bracket should be able to stay there in place. It's got another mounting point, I'm hoping. No, so I do have to take that pump off. Let's start out. And there, just one here. That's probably it. Hopefully I don't have to disconnect any pipes. Get that pump out of the way. Okay, so there's always one difficult one, isn't there? I think in this case there's going to be 2, because I've still got to get the second one off down here, which I want to try and do now. See, that's probably the second hardest one. Why is that? Is that a different size? Different size bolt. What is that? It's not 9/16s like the rest. Does that make it 8? 1/2 inch? Try that. It's not 1/2 inch either. That's interesting. So it's not 9/16, so it's not 1/2 inch. Too big for 1/2 inch. And it's too small for 9/16. What's going on here? I can feel it now. It's a cap screw. Someone's put a cap screw in, which I can't see. And so I'll dig out my Allen keys here and see if I can get that onto it. Okay, so someone's put a cap head screw, a cap head bolt in this manifold. And it's not 1/4 inch, and it's not 5/16, but 9/32, 9/32. It's the only one it could be, so off down the hardware store I go and find myself a 9/32 Allen wrench, and here we go. Thankfully, as I mentioned with the others, nothing's very tight, so it's undoing easily. It's just awkward, to say the least. I'm hoping I can get it to its finger tight. No, not yet. It's got to be the oddest size of 9/32, I just, you know, or 7mm. But you know, it's standard sizes, so it's definitely 9/32. It's just bizarre. Someone's found one to use. There's always one, isn't there? There's always one. What's going to give you trouble? Wouldn't want to be too easy, would we? Get about a quarter turn each time. Come on, little devil. Almost tight. Finger loose. Needless to say, I'll be finding the correct hex head bolt to be putting back in. This is ridiculous. It's going to fight me the whole way, isn't it? What's stopping you from coming out? No. Right. Alright, maybe you can just stay there. Just got that front bolt here. Loosen this off. But yeah, there's the fending bolt. Stainless steel, which is nice, but hold on. God, look at that, it is 5/16. Why can I get that to get in the hole? That's great. Okay, so now I need to release tension on this. And the other bolt. Get this out of the way. Not enough room to swing it around here. Thankfully, the bolts, once they're cracked, they come out without too much drama. He's going to fight me the whole way too. That one has to come out. Just about there, I think. There we go. Here's the last one. Still connected here somewhere. There you have it. As you can see, quite clearly broken. Alright, I'll get you down here for a look. So, there we have it. One very sorry looking cast manifold. So the next thing I have to do is get the remaining part of that manifold off of that downpipe. And I'm not sure if I'll do that from up here or down underneath yet. Wish me luck. Alright, so here we are a couple of days later, and I'm ready to put the exhaust manifold back in and reassemble everything else after that. So down here you'll see I've just cleaned up this vacuum rod dealio here. I don't even know what this is for, but obviously it's got to go back in. And I got a bit excited with the paint last night. I think the fumes went to my head because I went ahead and did that. I know. But anyway, it's done now, and you don't see too much of it. And I've been and bought a new bolt to replace that cap nut there. That was giving me trouble, and so nice new bolt there, so I'm ready to go again. I've got some sealer to go on my joint down the bottom here. Got a new gasket in between there, and I'm going to put thread lock, sorry, not thread lock, but copper anti-seize on all my bolts when I put them back in again, just to ensure when I do this job again later on to put the headers on that should come off nice and easy. Alright, so I'll go ahead and get this started. Alright, there it is, all completed. I didn't record myself putting it back in again because it's pretty much the reversal of taking it out. But it all went smoothly. No great surprises there. And it looks a lot better and sounds a lot better. So, nice little job there done, which I'm quite happy to have completed. So I thought while I was at it, I better just tidy up the driver's side manifold as well. So I cleaned that up and also painted that with some heat-proof silver as per the other side, so it matches, and it just tidies up the engine bay that little bit more. And so overall, it's looking quite nice under here. As you can see, new decal on the air cleaner there, which just finishes off nicely. And I wanted to show you this as well. This ducting is the original one. If you've been watching, you might have noticed that was quite crushed previously. And because these are all wire reinforcing, it was just bent from probably being leant on or whatever. It was a fairly simple procedure just to pull that off and put your hand inside the duct and just straighten all those out. And it's come out really nicely. Got a nice clean flow back through the air cleaner again. So that's looking more factory. And then on the other side, that is a new one on that side because that one was had holes in it and was too far gone. So that one's been replaced. And this is the one that was on the car. So again, overall, just another step closer to looking a lot better in here. And it's nice to have the car sounding quieter and a bit more civilized. Okay, well, thanks for watching. It's been a good learning process for me, and I hope maybe for you, somebody else as well. It's not that big a deal changing out that manifold. So if you ever have a problem, then don't be shy. Just get into it. There we go, sounding much better. It's hiding a little bit fast because it's still cold. Really happy to have that job done. Well, that's the end of this episode. We're making good progress here on the Corvette though. Still lots to do, so make sure you come and check out the channel next time and see what I'm up to. Thanks for watching.